Hi, Professor.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Hello.
Hey, Sabrina. Aziz, I'm going to mute you just because it's a little loud where you're at. Hey, Virgia.
Good afternoon, Jeffrey.
It feels like a long time since I've seen you, Virgia.
Yes.
Hey, Hugh. I see people coming in. Hey, Teferi, Galina. Hi, everybody.
Hi, Professor.
Aziz.
Good, thank you.
Aziz, I'm going to mute you. Thank you. You can unmute yourself if you want to talk, of course, but just while we're waiting.
Jeffrey, I want to talk about with you something.
Okay.
Yeah. Homework, don't on time to do it. After to do it is okay.
Yeah, I'll just leave the announcement.
Homework.
I'll just leave this announcement up for people to see. I'm sure people are going to have many questions, but yeah, I was before the spring break, I needed to get caught up on everything. So if you got a grade of a 0, as it says on the assignment here for a homework you did not do yet, do it and I'll give you the points before the end of the semester. So I know I got a lot of scared text messages from students who have not completed lessons, but you still can do it. I just needed to make sure that I have everything up to date because we're 10 weeks in now, and some students were still, lesson 4 and 5 and 6 weren't done. So I just have to get caught up for myself, but you've still got time.
Okay, thank you.
I have an issue. My computer at home broke and I'm zooming on the phone. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear it, Andre. Yeah, my laptop is ready to die. I think I said, right, I bought this laptop for grad school like 6 years ago when I was a grad student. And so I really thought, oh, I'll just need it for, writing papers and surfing the internet. And now all my work is on it. So I completely understand. Hey, Astra, people just saying hello. Hi, everybody. Does that explanation make sense, Fujia? On this slide, does it make sense?
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
Okay. Plus, I think sometimes you can do the homework anytime. Sometimes I think it's very good. I don't want anyone to feel stressed or scared, of course, but I think sometimes for students who are have maybe 5 or 6 lessons to do, it's kind of good to see what their score will be if they don't do those lessons. So you have time. But if you're thinking, oh, do I even need to do it? Maybe, maybe not, but maybe. Yeah. So we got more people coming in, so we'll still give people a few more minutes. People saying hi in the chat. Hey, everybody. Oh my goodness. It's good to see you guys. Yeah, I'll just leave this. This is the only announcement today is Fujia's question about grades. So if you have that same question, if you're watching the recording, you've got time, don't panic. Don't panic. I know, but some students' grades are, like with no score entered, it was like, oh, I have a B. And then if you get a 0, it's like, oh, now I have a C or a D. It's like, oh my God.
Yeah, sir, I was confused at why I got 0, but when it was graded, but it was with 0 point, I was kind of confused.
You've got time. You've got time.
I appreciate it.
I think next semester I'm even going to do less homework. I cannot tell you guys how much I hate these lessons. I love the grammar writing. I love working with you guys one-on-one. I hate graded homework in Canvas. I hate it so much. It's so stressful.
Yeah.
But
Sir,
it's tricky because I want you guys to get time to practice too. It's just tricky. So maybe I was thinking just do it, no grade, like the lessons are there, but it's not for any points. I don't know, because I cannot do this again next semester. It's too much. Students get too stressed.
The zero gradings also was kind of reminder for everybody, especially for me, you know, that. Yeah.
I just can't, it's already week 10. It's crazy. Yeah, please, I'm sorry.
I said sorry before greetings. I've just started talking. So I wish everything was fine last week, sir, with you.
I'm okay. Thank you. I'm here. I'm okay.
And I wish all my classmates are fine.
Me too. I totally agree. Yeah. I hope you guys are doing well. And yeah, I think it's tricky, right? Yeah, I don't know. I'm okay. I hope you guys are all okay too. I know I always feel bad if I have to cancel class, but usually students aren't too sad. You know what I mean? They're kind of like, oh no, that's okay. That's okay. Yeah, that's fine.
You know, so you know, students are always happy with canceling. Like I was happy myself because I was in very hurry and I having my lunch when I saw the message. I was very happy. Oh, the class canceled.
Yeah, that's usually that's how students feel, I think.
Sir, I got a quick question, sir, about my grammar writing. So I think it's not graded yet. So once I reform it and edit it as per your instructions, but I think it's not graded so far. I think you were busy or something.
No, and that's good. So we'll get started here. Since it's 3:35, and Aziz, I'm going to mute you again. We're going to talk about verb tenses today. So yeah, I'll get started because to answer that question, I'll just explain and make sure students can ask questions if they have. But hi, it's March 17. I missed you guys last week. I hope you're well. It's good to see you all. What we're doing today is I've got some short announcements. I'm going to introduce grammar writing 2, and then we're going to start with lots of verb tenses today, and we'll see how much we can get through. Whatever we don't finish today, we will finish next week. Next week is our last class before spring break. I'm going to talk about the simple past, the present perfect continuous, and the past perfect. So we'll see how much of that we can get done today. But to answer that question, so I am now completely caught up on grading for any lessons and all lessons in Canvas, except for people who resubmitted grammar writing 1. So if you revised and resubmitted, I've finished grading some of those to give higher scores, but not all of them. Okay, but all the other lessons in Canvas are graded. Now, as I said to Fujia at the beginning, or if you're watching on the recording, if you got a 0 score for an assignment you did not do yet, do not worry. You still can do that assignment anytime before the end of the semester, okay? And I can see in Canvas, even if it says 0, I can see when you submit a new assignment or when you have submitted that assignment. So I'll go back and give you those points, okay? But again, as I say here, I just needed to get fully caught up on the grades and to see where each individual student is at before we go into spring break, right? So that's why you might have gotten a lot of updates. Your teacher graded this assignment, your teacher graded that assignment. And it was really interesting, again, just like everything online, right? Some students have done every single lesson, they're missing nothing. Some students, you know, still got 6 or 7 or 8 lessons to finish. So wherever you are on the spectrum is all good. But if you got a 0 for a lesson you did not do yet, and you want those points, still do the lesson. I will grade it before the end of the semester. Hey, Circlem says hi in the chat. Hey, Circlem. So any questions about this grading announcements and all that stuff? Does this make sense? If not, let me answer questions. Cool. So if you got scared, you know, be a little scared, but not too scared, because you still got plenty of, you know, you got time. I don't want to say plenty. You got time. You got time. All right. If there are no questions about grammar writing 1 or about any of the other older lessons, then what I want to do here is introduce grammar writing 2. So you can access this in a bunch of different places, but it is now published and live in Canvas. I'm going to switch over to student view here, and I'm going to go to assignments. Now, remember, these are the only assignments that do have due dates. So it should show overdue. Oh, forgive me. Hold on. I need to fix this real quick. Excuse me. Hold on 1 second. I love how it says overdue. I put today instead of next Wednesday. Forgive me.
Thank you. I was wondering.
Yeah, it's late, Veronica.
Oh my God, I didn't do my homework.
I assigned it today and it was due today. I'm a monster. No, it's due next Thursday. And I'll also tell you guys this, just because things with my own life and family and stuff have been it's been a little bit crazy. So if you need even more time and you need to do this into the spring break, you can. But again, my goal is that you don't have to do any work for this class for spring break. So if you can finish before next, by next Wednesday, I think that'd be great. But if you need more time, I probably won't take any points away from you. So let's take a look at the assignment sheet. So in Canvas, now you can see everything I'm going to show you is here in Canvas. Let me switch back to student view here. Maybe. All right, so all the information is here on the page, but of course, you know me by now, I like to look at the Word document. So you can click this link to open the Word document here. So grammar writing 2, this is parts of speech, subjects, verbs, phrases, and sentence types. So here's what I want you to do for grammar writing 2 for this assignment. I'm asking you to analyze your own writing for parts of speech, subjects, verbs, sentence, clauses, and phrases. To do this, I want you to copy and paste 8 sentences from your introduction letter or one of your discussion posts for this class. Like I said, I strongly suggest you use the discussion about a person you admire. But again, I think only 7 people have done that assignment. So if you haven't done it yet, great. Now's a good time to do it. If you want to use any other of your own writing, that's fine too. But wherever you get your own sentences, your own writing, I want you to identify the number of clauses in each sentence. 2, identify each clause as dependent or independent. 3, identify each sentence as simple, complex, compound, or compound, complex. Identify one phrase, you choose any type of phrase, I do not care. And I am going to ask you as well to identify 5 parts of speech. After you've analyzed the 8 sentences, I want you to write a short reflection about what you learned about your own writing. What did you notice? Do you use the same sentence type? Do you use a lot of prepositions? So just like we did last time, but again, you're going to write a reflection about what you learned from this assignment and analyzing your sentences for these examples. The first draft is due 1 week from today. That is Wednesday, March 24th. Just like for grammar writing 1, you will have 1 week after I give you your first grade to revise and resubmit for a higher score. The grading rubric, is exactly the same as grammar writing 1. And again, I'll tell you right now, the grading rubric for grammar writing 3 and grammar writing 4, because we've got 2 more of these after the spring break. It's the exact same rubric, right? So grammar analysis, 50 points, editing, 20 points, self-reflection is worth 2 points, and then length is worth 10. So as you know, some last grammar writing 1, some students had 300 words or 350 words. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm gonna look away so I don't get distracted by too cute. But the rubric is the exact same grading rubric for this assignment, and it will be the same for grammar writing 3 and 4. And just like last time, I've got an example and a template for you, right? So page 3 on the document, or if you look at the assignment page here in Canvas, where I say, look at the example and template on page 3, this is what I'm talking about, right? So your name, my name, class title and number, and the due date, grammar writing 2. And, you know, for grammar writing 1, some people posted their entire paragraph, some people didn't. If you want to put the whole paragraph in the document, that's fine. If you don't want to, that's fine too. I wanted to show you a different way to do it. So here I just have labeled sentence 1. Then I've got my sentence. If you look at the discussion activity about a person you admire, this is the first sentence from my Canvas post, right? So I want to write about why I admire my sister, comma, Amy. Said number of clauses, 2. Clause type, I want to write independent, and about why I admire my sister, dependent. So this is one independent and one dependent clause. This is a complex sentence. A phrase of any kind, Amy, just that one word, just the one name is a noun phrase. And then I've got parts of speech. I is a pronoun, want is a verb, why is a conjunction, subordinating conjunction. My is a possessive determiner, and Amy is a noun, a proper noun. Then sentence 2, same thing. I've given you another example. She is a kind and generous person, hardworking professional, and incredible mother. One clause. It's an independent clause. That means it's got to be a simple sentence. And I put everything after the verb, including the verb, as the verb phrase. Is a kind and generous person, hardworking professional, and incredible mother. That whole thing is the verb phrase. And then I've identified the parts of speech here. I'm just a reminder, I'm asking you to do this for 8 sentences, not just 2. Even in the example, I only show you 2 examples. And this here is what I mean by template, right? If you just want to highlight this from the Word document, copy it, and paste it into your own and use this to organize your own paper, great, feel free to do that. If you've got some other way that you want to organize and analyze your sentences, you can do that too. Okay, questions about grammar writing 2? Anything, instructions, anything about the examples, due dates, grading, any questions I can answer before we talk about verb tenses?
Excuse me.
Please.
Sorry. Go ahead.
I heard Arena, I see Hugh, I don't know who else I heard. Arena, go ahead.
Yes.
Oh, thank you. I can't find this assignment on my Canvas. I don't know where is.
It's there. If you go to home.
Home, okay.
Actually, I mean, I didn't need to, but home, assignments.
Assignments, yeah.
And then it should be under upcoming assignments, grammar writing 2.
Okay, upcoming assignments, okay.
It's just one of the only assignments that has a due date. So when it has a due date, Canvas sometimes will the website, you know, the program will just put it in a different place. But could you find it there?
Yeah, probably. I'll find it.
Yeah.
Just a second, I need to find.
No problem. Look, go ahead, take a minute, look for it. If you still can't find it, let me know and I can help you.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Yep. Who else? I heard a few other, did I hear you? Hugh, do you have a question?
I have a
No,
question.
go ahead.
Okay, Sapida, please.
Yeah, if we have a question regarding this assignment, if we don't understand any sentence, that what type of clauses or part of speech or phrases that, how I can ask you?
I'd say, well, next, let me see, hold on. So office hours or student hours, hold on. On tomorrow, I made a sign-up sheet for appointments tomorrow because in one of my other classes, I have student writing conferences. So let me do this in the chat. Give me 1 second here, Sapita.
Okay.
Like if you wanted to come tomorrow, here it is.
You don't have office hours next week?
I will, I definitely will. And I'll probably do another sign-up sheet, but I'll put this into the chat now. And if you're watching the Zoom recording and you want to come tomorrow, so I've made a sign-up sheet for my student office hours tomorrow. I'll probably do this next week as well, Sapita, because I think it's one reason I was such a mess last week is it's just that stressful time before the spring break. So lots of students have questions. So I've made this sign-up sheet. I'll put it in the chat. Hold on 1 second.
Because I didn't write my discussion yet and I want to read it maybe tomorrow or after tomorrow, and next week I will ask you some question.
Perfect. And remember Wednesday, I had some students texting and emailing me this morning too. If you can only meet for a Zoom one-on-one on Wednesday, we could do that too. So you know, Sapita, email me or text me. But again, for either Sapita or any student who wants to come tomorrow, that this is the sign-up sheet. All you would need to do, right? I already put the date in for you, Thursday the 18th, and I have the time here. So if you wanted to sign up for a 10-minute window, all you have to do is just type your name in the document. So I put the link in the chat. I will put the link in our live support materials page in Canvas. So again, if you're watching the recording and you want to come at a specific time tomorrow, you can do that too. Thank you, Sapita, great question. And next week, we'll make it work next week too.
Yeah.
Great question. Any other questions about the grammar writing 2?
Yes, I have one question.
Please circle them.
Yeah, you said phrase, any kind of phrase like verb phrase or noun phrase or objective.
Absolutely. You choose. Since I think we only talked about the phrases for 2 classes. And like I said, we talked about some of them in much more detail than others. So practice whatever, you know what I mean? Practice however you want to practice. If you just are like, well, I know what a prepositional phrase is and I want to find those, great. If you want to sort of test yourself and practice identifying adjective phrases or something, you can totally do that too.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. Great question. Other questions? Okay, here's my question for you, and you can just tell me or type it in the chat. I've got lots of activities to start to talk about verb tenses today, but should we practice some of this stuff from grammar writing 2 again, or do we feel pretty good about that? Like if I give you a sentence and say, identify the number of clauses in the sentence type, do you feel good, or should we, because we could do another 15 or 20-minute practice of that before we do verbs, but I just wanted to see how we're feeling.
Yeah, we can do some of them.
Circle M says practice a little more. Anybody else have an opinion?
I already finished 8 of them, mine. I listed 8 of them, but I want to make sure, so.
Yeah. Do you have, can we use one of your sentences, Circle M?
For my writing, for admire my brother, so
Yeah.
from there, yeah, I can do it.
Oh, perfect. Let me, because you already posted your discussion activity. So let's look at some of Circle M's sentence. We'll do some of Circle M's homework for her together. Actually, I'll just start in the middle for no reason. I'll just pick 2 sentences and let's go to our Canvas. What should we call this? Sentences, clauses, and phrases. Review. And I'm just gonna, again, like I suggested to you guys, this is just a chart here, right? As it's set up in Word. So I'm just gonna copy this whole thing, right? So you could highlight it. You could do this a bunch of different ways, and then right click, copy. And then if I go into PowerPoint, it should do this for me and just put it in there. It's kind of small, but it'll work. Oh, it's weird though. I'm still going to use it. Okay, let's look at so this is Circle M's sentence. She can definitely answer some of these questions for us, but anybody else who wants to help us analyze this, please feel free. So he is a civil engineer, comma, and he designs, builds, supervises, and constructs, this is just spelling, big infrastructure projects. Really nice. Okay, let's do what we usually do. I'm not asking you to write this out when you type, but where are the verbs?
Is.
Yes. And?
Designs.
Yeah, and?
Build.
And?
Supervises.
And?
Construct.
Circle of you. I'll have you show us. This is a perfect example of, remember, compound verbs. You've got a clause where you've got one subject and lots of verbs after it. So I love it. A great example. And the grammar here, there's no grammar errors in this sentence, everybody. I just want to be clear. So I heard Hugh and I heard a few other people saying, I think Amanda, is our verb. Is a verb. designs, builds, supervises, constructs are verbs. So where are our subjects?
He.
Yep, and
He again.
I agree. So how many clauses do we have?
2.
I completely agree. And what are they? Because if you look at my example, remember, I am asking you to show me, not just say dependent, independent, but I'm asking you to identify where the clauses are, right? So what's the first clause?
He is a civil engineer.
Excellent.
This is a reminder.
Great. And what type of clause?
Independent.
I agree. And what's the other clause?
He
And he
designs.
builds.
He designs, verbs, verbs, verbs.
Supervises.
Super.
And constructs.
Infrastructure. Great, absolutely. So this is 2 clauses, 2 independent clauses. What type of sentence is this?
Found.
Yes, I hear lots of voices, which is making me very happy. This is a compound sentence. And how about an example of a phrase?
Is
No phrase.
engineering.
What did I hear? Is a civil engineer?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
what type of phrase is that?
Noun phrase.
Verb phrase.
For word praise.
Verb phrase.
This, if you start with the verb is, this is a verb phrase. This is a verb phrase. I heard someone say noun phrase. Now we've got lots of great noun phrases in this sentence. Can someone give me an example of a noun phrase?
Big.
Yeah, I love it. And how about another noun phrase?
He.
Design, view.
Thank you. The second he. Yes, that is also correct. Yes. How about I'll be more specific. There are 2 noun phrases in this clause. He is one of them. What's the other noun phrase in this clause?
Civil engineer.
And he designed.
I heard
Big. Big infrastructure project. Big infrastructure project.
Oh, good. Okay, good. Well, you guys went to the next clause, but that's right. Big infrastructure projects. That's definitely an NP. I also heard someone saying civil engineers.
Civil engineer.
Now, yes, and do we include the determiner or not?
Yes.
Not. Yes.
Yes. The determiner, it has to be a part of the noun phrase. Good. Remember, determiners, this is, if you spent a lot of time looking at the tutorial there, this idea of the head of a phrase, I don't stress it too much. It's a little bit like linguistics-y, so you don't need to worry about it too much. But if it's a noun phrase, that means it's like the boss, right? It's like the verb of a sentence, right? The head of a phrase is like the boss of that phrase. And it's like, what's another metaphor I could use? It's like a black hole in the universe, right? It's got very strong gravity. It sucks in all of the other parts of speech that are connected to it. So people identified big infrastructure projects. Well, the head noun there is projects, right? And we've got 2, modifiers. Yeah, what parts of speech here?
Adjective.
Active.
Exactly right. And just like in this one, we've got, well, what type of engineer? Civil engineer. So civil is an adjective that modifies the noun, and the determiner is also connected back to that head noun there. Okay, so if you're going, wait, I didn't think that we needed the determiner. If it's a noun phrase and there's a determiner connected to that noun, that determiner, that article is going to be a part of the NP. Okay, you guys? And how about some parts of speech? What part of speech is he?
Subject.
It is. What else could we say about it?
Pronoun.
Subject noun.
A pronoun.
Good. I was going to say, if you call it a noun, that's fine, right? But it is a specific type of noun. It's an object. I'm sorry. It's a subject pronoun. It's a subject pronoun. Good. How about is?
To be.
Auxiliary.
Auxiliary.
No,
And
Verb.
It's a verb.
It is verb.
Verb.
and
If there-
conjunction.
This is auxiliary.
Yeah. Oh, his auxiliary? You guys, what's going on?
No, it's a verb.
we get We get what I know. We get 1 week away from grammar, and it's like, now I understand. No, I understand though, because again, have and be, you always do have to ask yourself, ooh, is that the main verb or is that an auxiliary verb? Because I know you know this. We're going to look at the present perfect today, right? I have been. Okay. There's an example where I have as an auxiliary and be in the past participle form. But anyway, but remember, even if you think it might be an auxiliary, don't just guess, give it a test, right? Is there any other word that even looks like a verb in this clause? He is a civil engineer.
Verb.
I don't see a present participle. I don't see an ing. I don't see a past participle ed. There's only one word that even looks like a verb. This has got to be a main verb. Now, if I said this, well, if Circulem said this, if I said he is working as a civil engineer, okay, present continuous tense. Now is an auxiliary verb and working is the main verb. But Circulem wrote the sentence like this, is
Verb.
right? Good. How about and?
Conjunction.
Yes.
Conjunction.
How about big?
Adjective. Adjective.
Great. How about projects?
Noun.
Noun. Noun.
Great.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're done. Circle. You've got one sentence done.
Thank you. I have one question. When we start also,
Please.
so also can be adverb or subordinating.
Great question. Do you have an example sentence? Because I always, you know me, I repeat myself here. Is it in this post, Circulem?
Yes.
Which sentence is it?
Also, I can't see. It's so small.
He is also a good brother.
No, start with also.
Oh, at the beginning of the sentence.
Yeah. After period.
I'll find it. There it is. Also, he got.
Yeah.
Let's do this one and then we'll finish up with the review. So again, this will be the last one we analyze together. So guys, if you've got questions about sentence types and clauses, now's the time, okay? Because I'm going to verb tenses after this.
Thank you.
Of course. We'll talk about verb tenses, what most people usually think of when they think of ESL grammar. Okay, let's see. This is the one we did. Good. Okay. Also, comma, he got a certificate from our country because he participated and won against schools from several countries. Oh, nice sentence. Really interesting. Okay. Just like we did with Circulem's first sentence. Actually, let's go even faster this time. How many clauses?
One.
I heard a vote for one.
Yeah.
Two.
Two.
I hear a vote for two.
There is two clauses.
Two clauses.
Okay, let me hear from my people who think it's two. Where's our first verb?
We got a certificate from our country.
Great. And where's the next verb?
Participate.
Participate and won.
One.
I can say right now, when Circulem writes her reflection, she can say, I love to use compound verbs. Yes, okay, so if these look like verbs, let's find our subjects to find out if it's a clause or not. So got is the verb. What's the subject?
E.
Yep. Fantastic. And participated in one. Is there a subject for that verb? Those
Yes.
We.
Yes, good. So for my people who thought it was one, I heard people saying it's only one clause. Does this make sense why there's two?
Two clauses.
And if not, let me answer those questions.
Conjunction.
Conjunction because. Yeah.
Thank you very much. And if,
Subordinate.
of course, you already knew what I was going to ask. Subordinating or coordinating?
Subordinate.
Subordinate.
Great. So if we already say, let's say this, we'll fill in these clause types here. But if we're talking about a sentence with a subordinating conjunction, two clauses joined by a subordinating conjunction, what type of sentence is that?
Compound sentence.
Dependent.
Complex.
I hear Hugh saying complex. I heard Sapira say compound. This is complex. Because he got a certificate from our country. Independent or dependent?
Dependent.
Dependent.
Independent.
No, it's
He got
independent.
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 It has a complete meaning, sir.
It does. And then, and again, a few other people were pointing out, I think Hugh also said specifically about the word because, right? So if you see that word because, I mean, I'm trying to think of an example here, but I want to use the word always, which you guys know is dangerous with English grammar, but I think because is always a subordinating conjunction. If I think of an example where it's not, I will tell you all, but I see because it's in the middle of the sentence, because is a subordinating conjunction. This is basically a big sign, right? Saying, hey, whatever comes after this word because is going to be a dependent clause, right? And to be a real sentence, you know, you've got to have at least one independent clause. So this kind of has to be the independent clause. It comes before the subordinating conjunction. And I think I heard a few other people saying, right? He got a certificate from our country, period. You could say that, right? I got a certificate from American River College, period. He got a certificate from our country, period. She got a certificate 2 years ago, period. Whatever it is. Right? So here's our first clause is the independent clause. And because, and remember, I told you, if you guys include the conjunction, the subordinator in the clause or not, I'm not that worried about it in this class. People can disagree. So you could say because or keep it out, whatever. Because he participated and won against schools from several countries. This is our dependent clause, and that's why we've got a complex sentence. How about, I want to choose the phrase for us here.
Verb phrase.
Ooh, so we've got really fun and interesting phrases in this sentence, Circular. How about we'll do an easy one. From several countries. What phrase is this?
Noun phrase.
Preposition phrase.
Objective. The preposition phrase.
It's a prepositional phrase.
Yeah.
Preposition phrase.
And perfect. And that's because we've got a preposition. I've got several is modifying the noun country. So several countries is the object noun phrase, the object noun phrase to the preposition from, right? Good. How about
Against who?
yeah, what do you think about that?
Objective.
No.
It's word phrase.
Well, it's
Preposition.
if it's
Preposition phrase.
I think Hugh's got an idea here, and we can talk about it, Hugh, because I think we could do this. We could analyze this two different ways. So if you were thinking verb phrase, I understand, but remember, if it's a verb phrase, you've got to put the verbs in it. So you could say participated and won against schools from several different countries, and now you got a verb phrase, right? But remember, like the dolls that go inside of each other, inside of this verb phrase, we've got this, just against schools from several different countries.
Preposition.
I hear Hugh saying preposition. Does anyone else have an idea for what this word against is doing? Preposition makes sense, Hugh, because again, you've got a word that looks like it could be a preposition. You've got a noun after it. Do you know what I mean? Like that makes sense. Then you've got another preposition after that with an object noun phrase. So that makes sense. But let me ask this: if
I think against it means to counter for something, which make this dislocation of something.
So instead of being preposition, what would it be, Andre? Do you want to guess?
No, I don't know.
It's okay.
But I understand how it works, but I can explain it.
It's fine. It's fine. Well, it'd be like it's you know, prepositions are so tricky. Trying to identify prepositional phrases is pretty easy when you're starting to practice, but asking yourself what is a preposition in the context of a sentence can be difficult, right? Because I was thinking this. You guys tell me what you think, right? Because he participated and won against schools. I could imagine one of my professors at UC Davis saying, well, the word against is actually modifying the verb. It's actually modifying the action of the clause. It's telling me about the action that the subject did. In that case, maybe you'd call it an adverb phrase, right? But you could also say he participated and won. Let's imagine we change Circulum. I'll put your sentence back. We could also say, hold on 1 second, and then I'll answer any questions. Because this is, again, it's why analyzing sentences like this is more difficult, because real life is much more complicated than a textbook sentence. He won, he participated and won in many competitions. Now, if this was the sentence, it'd be very, exactly right. It'd be very clear that in was a preposition, right? We wouldn't say, oh, in is modifying the verb, it's an adverb. We know in is a preposition, right? But other words like this, against is kind of a direction word. It gives us sort of a different meaning. So again, remember, adverbs, content words, prepositions, function words. So is this a content word that gives us meaning that connects to the verb, or is this just a preposition like in or from or to? Again, both analysis could be interesting. I think most people said that this is a prepositional phrase, and I think that makes sense. Like I said, if I said to you though, okay, why is this a prepositional phrase? I think the most important thing would be to say, well, look, it's after the action of the verb, it's followed by a noun, an object noun phrase. There's even another prepositional phrase inside of this bigger prepositional phrase with another object noun phrase. So that analysis makes sense to me as well. Questions about this one? Because this is like Safida was saying, when you start to analyze your own sentences, especially now, 10 weeks in, I see your sentences are getting so much better. You might have a sentence that you wrote where you could analyze one word in one or two different ways, and that's okay, right? What I really want though is, if you call it a preposition, tell me why, right? If you call it an adverb, tell me why, and have some reason at least. Does that make sense? Questions?
Then you scared us. Then you scared us that we shouldn't write such a long sentence, sir.
Well, I mean, we'll save it for your reflection. I know, but for students or I know now you're going to go back to writing simple sentences. I like it. Period. It is fun. Period. I learn a lot. Period. Yeah, you know,
Sir, against itself is a preposition, right, sir?
I think, like I said, I think this to me makes more sense as a preposition, but let me go to Learner's Dictionary and see if they give an example sentence with against.
Yeah, it's a preposition.
Does it give you any other example? Oh, it says only preposition?
Yeah, in Learner Dictionary, it's just preposition.
Interesting. Yeah, like I said, let's go with that. That's why I would say that's the easier analysis. I think that's the easier analysis. Yeah, but like I said, if a student, preposition shows the relationship between two things. Yeah, that's true. Like I said, prepositions can definitely talk about direction as well, but
sir, then if we analyzes like this is a preposition phrase, so this is a correct sentence and analyze, right, sir?
Yep. Okay, definitely. And now let's do he is a pronoun, right? Got is a verb. We already identified that. Because is a conjunction. I already sort of made you guys identify these. And is a conjunction. Circulum's question at the beginning of this was also what part of speech is also. You said sentence. Okay, here's the only question. I think Circulum's question was conjunction or adverb, right, Circulum? That was your question.
Yeah.
Adverb.
In this sentence, I think it's got to be
Adverb.
Also it's an adverb.
Adverb.
And again, I can put this in the chat here, but this is in Professor Ferris talks about this in grammar language power as well. She loves talking about sentence adverbials, sentence adverbs. I'll just put this in the chat for you guys. This is like American college writing, 101, right? Clearly, comma, sadly, comma, curiously, comma. Man, lots of sentences like this. Even in ESL textbooks, I think you see lots of sentences that start with a one-word adverb. And again, if you're thinking that doesn't look like an adverb, again, there are many linguists, teachers who will agree with you, but the argument is it's one word, it's not a conjunction because it doesn't connect two clauses, and it modifies all of the action that comes after it in the sentence, even if it doesn't have an ly, right? Even if it's not clearly, sadly, curiously. So I'm going to put that, just if you want more details or information, it's in your book too. But, make sense? Questions?
Yes, Professor, I have question for also. Sometimes we connect this paragraph to the another paragraph. So I see sometimes they call the transitive.
Sometimes, say one more time, sometimes they call what?
Transitive, for example, however, or furthermore, something at beginning of the paragraph.
Yep.
We connect this paragraph to the other paragraph so that we all the paragraph we read is smoother or fluently, something like this.
Professor Ferris loves also, I don't agree with her on this, but she really believes, like, however, the example you use there, Hugh, is she does not like starting sentences with however. She likes to really use it as like a adverb conjunction thing. She likes to say like, I love studying English grammar. Something like this. Like she loves this. So if you see this in one of the tutorials, she loves to put however there in the after a semicolon or a colon. I just think it's a little, it's interesting, it's fun, it's interesting, but anyway. And I'm sorry, Hugh, tell me again, what's the connection between however and also, were you saying?
Normally we can call them either adverb, but sometimes it can transitive word.
Transitive, yeah.
Transitive.
Yeah, it's true. Some of those words, especially for college writing, because we use them so often, that means the more often you use the word, the more different contexts you have. And remember, think about week 1, over 2 months ago now in this class, context is everything, right? Context is everything. Yeah. Great. Any other questions or ideas about sentences, clauses, and phrases before you do grammar writing 2? Speak now before we get ready for verbs.
I would like to say thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you. Circle says, thanks to the class, everybody. Thanks to the class for your help. All right. I saw you got a thumbs up there too from other students. Okay. Just for time, I'm not going to do small groups, but here's my question. I've got some slides up. I've got some sentences up on this slide that I want you to look at. Let's think about it maybe for a minute by yourself and then talk about it. And all I'm asking you to think about is correct or incorrect. Are these sentences correct or incorrect, and why? Okay, first sentence, I'll read it out loud. 1, I have gone to the store yesterday. 2, I have just wait. I have lived in Sacramento for 2 years, period. I live in Japan now, and I've been living in California for 38 years. Since 2015, I started school and I was pregnant. Let's say, maybe not even a minute, 30 seconds silently, think about it, right or wrong, and then why, and then this will be our way to start talking about verbs.
We have already thought about it. So.
All right, let's talk. Let me duplicate the slide, and then after I do this, we'll look at the we'll look at kind of the rules together here. First, I'll delete this. Okay, I have gone to the store yesterday. Wrong, right? What's going on?
Wrong.
Only because yesterday.
First, what verb tense?
Past.
Past
Past
participle.
and present perfect together.
What? Okay, such a good point. Okay, what tense is the verb phrase in? What tense is just the verb phrase in?
Past participle.
Present perfect.
Thank you. Now, present perfect tense. Now remember, this is kind of something you've already seen before, I'm sure, but present perfect is auxiliary have plus the past participle, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's why people were saying past participle, right? But our verb is have gone to the store. So have gone, I have gone. And is there any subject verb error here? Or is just these three words, are they okay together like this?
Yeah, they're fine.
That's right. So this is not a problem about making some kind of subject verb agreement error. Have is the auxiliary is conjugated correctly. Go is in its irregular past participle form. I already heard someone say the problem with this sentence is the word yesterday, right?
Yes.
And why? Can you explain to me?
Yes. Because yesterday is a time expression we use only in the past tense, but this sentence is basically the sentence is a present perfect tense, but yesterday is time expression which shows the specific time, but since present perfect doesn't show the specific time.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yesterday is a time that finished, an action is finished, but present perfect is not finished. It will continue.
Yes. Good. And what part of speech is yesterday?
It's adverb.
And again, now I hope you start to see as we really do a deep dive in verb tenses here, parts of speech matter, right? Because the word yesterday, it is a time word, absolutely. But because it's an adverb, it directly connects back and modifies the verb. And when we have a time word that means done, fully completed, with a tense that we use to talk about things that aren't fully completed, even if you have the subject verb agreement correct, a teacher, a native speaker is still going to look at this sentence and say, wrong, incorrect, right? So yesterday is an adverb. It modifies the verb phrase. But, I'm going to put but. Yesterday means fully completed or done. So we can't use present perfect with time words that imply completed action. Make sense?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, we're going to practice this.
Professor, I have a question.
Tell me, I'm ready.
If we add the thing yesterday, I have gone to the store since yesterday. We can use present perfect. Thing yesterday.
Let me remember that example. If my example doesn't answer that question, Hugh, I'm going to ask you to say it again, because since and for are really important. We're going to talk about them today, okay?
Yeah.
So let's look at since and for as well. I have gone since yesterday. I love it. Okay, let's look at the next sentence. I have lived in Sacramento for 2 years. Correct or incorrect?
Yes.
Good.
Correct.
So, do I live in Sacramento now? In this sentence?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. When did I start living in Sacramento?
Correct.
2 years.
ago.
Great. That's it. That's all. Now, that's all that matters, right? Like this is that example sentence. Again, most people have already seen this, right? I've got have, that's my auxiliary. I've got lived. Lived is the verb, but it is in the past participle, exactly, the past participle form. And again, live is one of those, it is a regular past participle form.
Yes.
Right? Great. So again, easy, makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Excuse me, I have a question.
Good.
Why can we cannot say I have been living in Sacramento for 2 years?
Let's look at the next. That's a great question.
Present perfect progressive.
Well, let's talk about that. That's a great connection to the next one. So I'm going to answer that question as well. But let's connect. Let's answer that in a second after we look at this sentence. I live in Japan now, comma, and I have been living in California for 38 years. Is this correct or incorrect?
Correct.
Incorrect.
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 Now, this was the question about present perfect progressive, right? Now, this is important. This is really important. No. Okay.
Exactly.
So first, let's start really basically. Are there verb, subject, verb errors here? This is no, right? There's no subject verb errors.
Yeah.
It's fine. I live in the present tense, talking about the present moment, totally fine, and have been living, right? So present perf progressive, have, ox, be,
Auxiliary.
ox, and verb in present participle. That's ing. The present participle is ing.
Right.
And sorry, Professor. In the first sentence, I live in Japan now. I'm living in Japan now. How about this one?
Well, let's talk about that too. Ox and been. So the good news about this verb tense, you guys, is, excuse me, even more specific here. Let me make sure I get all the notes here. So I think for most students, especially in this class, knowing you guys now after 10 weeks, I don't think the problem for you guys is if I show you in a textbook how to make the verb tense, right? Okay, how do we make the present perfect progressive? You have the auxiliary verb have, then you have the past participle been, right? It's always been. Been doesn't change. Been doesn't get conjugated. It's past participle auxiliary be, right? Always. So it's have auxiliary. Now we have to conjugate have. Been past participle auxiliary be. And then the ing, the present participle form of the verb, right? I think you guys can form that verb tense and put that together easy. So a traditional ESL grammar class where you fill in the blank of a sentence with, it says use the present perfect progressive of the verb. You guys can do that, right? But what we're talking about and what we're going to introduce today and keep working with when we talk about verb tenses is, well, when do I use these verbs? And just like we were asking here, I think Irina was asking, well, what's the difference between, in this sentence, I have lived in Sacramento for 2 years and I have been living in Sacramento? That's a very important question. But first, let's explain why this is incorrect. So it says, if I say I live in Japan now, so obvious question, but where is my house? California or Japan?
Japan.
Japan.
Exactly right. But if I say, now imagine this separate clause, the next clause. But if I say, I have been living in California for 38 years, where am I living when I say that?
California.
California.
No, that's exactly correct. So in the first clause, I'm using the simple present and it seems to say, oh, my house is in Japan right now. In the second clause, I use the present perfect progressive and I say I live somewhere else. Right? So this is incorrect, right? This sentence is incorrect because the verb tenses in the different clauses do not match, right? Or there's a meaning, right? There's like a mismatched meaning, something like that. I could probably
Doesn't have logical meaning.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Meaning, just the meaning is unclear. Mismatched. My brain. Oh my God. Bad meaning. I'm so, my poor brain. Okay. Okay, so like I said, are there subject verb errors? No. Oh, I'll put this at the bottom actually. Now that we have this understanding, right? When do we use the, or really even more than when, I'm sort of saying, when we use the present perfect progressive, what are we telling the reader? What are we telling the listener if we're using that verb tense? So we're exactly like many of you have said, we use the perfect aspect, whether that's past perfect, present perfect, progressive. We use that to talk about things that are still real, are still true, or are still happening if we're using a progressive tense.
Or progress.
In the present moment. Exactly correct. Exactly correct. Now, here's my question. I think, again, forgive me, I couldn't see, but I think it was you, Irina. What's up with this? Can I say this?
Yes.
Yep. And
Yeah.
yep. But absolutely, both are correct. Now here's the really part, even for native speakers, you guys, like me. What's the difference in meaning between these two sentences?
The difference between these two, the first one say, I live, but I'm still living in this city. That when the second one is said, I have been living, but have you living for now or not?
Yeah, okay.
He said opposite, I think.
Good. I will, yeah, let me explain. Andre, I love Andre. Anyway, amazing. I'm just happy. When I correct you, Andre, I know you know it's just to show you. I want to be clear here. If I use the present perfect continuous and I say, I have been living in California for 38 years, then a native speaker is going to understand you live in California right now. So you're saying it started 38 years ago. 10 years ago, I lived in California. 20 years ago, I lived in California. 30 years ago in California. 2 weeks ago, I lived in California. And I still live in California right now. That's the present perfect continuous, right? So just like if you say, I have lived in Sacramento for 2 years, you're telling the listener, you're telling the reader, and I still live there now. If you say, I have been living in Sacramento for 2 years, you're saying, and I am still living there now, right? So that's one thing I want to be clear on, right? When we start to practice the rules about when do we use the verb tenses, which again is so much harder than how do you make them, how do you form them? I want to be very clear here. Both these tenses, present perfect progressive, things that started in the past, were ongoing, and continue to be true now. So my question is, and why this is so difficult for learners, and even like I said, if I'm teaching native speakers these grammar tense rules, they don't, native speakers don't know, they don't know. First of all, I guess, is there a difference in meaning? And there kind of is, but what is the difference?
Difference in meaning, you said, sir?
Yeah, between these two sentences. It's really hard.
Yeah, as you said, sir, the second sentence, so still the action is in progress, means I am still living in Sacramento. But in the first sentence, if we move, for example, to another country or another city, if I say I have lived in Sacramento for 2 years, it means I'm not living there anymore.
No, that's not true. That's not true. That's what you're saying is this.
I know that this is a past tense, sir, but the first sentence says, I have lived in Sacramento for 2 years. For example, if I live in LA, if I face one of my friends, if I tell him that I have lived in Sacramento for 2 years, is it a wrong sentence?
No, because are you talking to you are in LA?
Yes, for example, if I'm in LA.
Then it's wrong. Yes, then it's wrong. Yeah, here we go. You guys said you wanted verb tenses. I tried to tell you, be careful what you wish for. Okay, so remember, this is what I mean. This is why we can go as slow as we need to. If we need to take longer after the break, we can. But remember, in this class, instead of trying to just have you practice forming the verb tense, what I want you to understand is what the meaning of these verb tenses is and what situations to use them in. And I'll just tell you right now, that means it takes longer because it's harder to teach. But again, I see Sandy's hand giving a thumbs up, right? It's harder, it just is. But again, so the questions we're talking about here are really, really important. I'll even add another, let me add another column here. Insert to the right. And again, this is the thing is you guys, when you're writing sentences for an essay, when you're talking to native speakers, I know you guys, like I said, my dream is that when you're doing this, you don't have to guess anymore. I think some students are like, I'm just gonna guess. The present perfect sounds good here. I don't know, but there are rules, right? The simple past means done, fully completed, no longer true or happening. So if you say to the present perfect, not done, not fully completed. Started in the past and still true. And I want to be careful here about happening because not done, not fully completed, started in the past, and is still happening. And now this is a hard idea to explain. And again, for me, even like I know a lot about English grammar. I think I'm a pretty decent teacher, but I'll just warn you, like this is a hard concept to understand, even for native speakers. And it's hard for me to teach, is what I'm really saying. Okay, so the meaning,
Can I say something?
Please go ahead.
I lived in Sacramento for 2 years. When we want to when we want to tell like not exactly, like if we still leaving or not, like we not like for example, like I have taught computer program for my kids, like for my student, but we don't want to clarify, but we don't want to show them like when it's the person may not know if it's still or not.
That's correct, but remember, that's what I'm trying to say here, Husna, which is it's still true. So I have taught my children computer skills. You're right. Now, I don't know when, right? I don't know when. That could have been 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 2 weeks ago. I don't know, right? But if the question is, did Husna teach her children computer skills right now in the present? The answer is yes, it is still true, right? And that's why the earlier sentence of if I'm in Los Angeles and I say to my friend, oh yeah, I've lived in Sacramento for 2 years. If you give the time frame, then you're using a tense that means it's still true now. And that's why that sentence is incorrect. Now, if you said to your friend, if your friend asked you, oh, have you lived in Sacramento? And you said, yes, I have lived in Sacramento. Okay, now in that sentence, we don't know if you live in Sacramento now or not, right? But we do know at some time in the past you did. Does that difference make sense?
Yes, sir. Yeah, only there's partials.
But well, I'm glad Husna, because, and someone else said this, I think this was like Hugh's question or some of the first questions that came up, is this becomes more complicated, of course, as soon as we introduce time phrases, right? Like I showed you some example sentences with time phrases for a reason. We use them all very often, right? For 2 years, or since, for and since get their own chapter in some textbooks because they're so common, right? But Husna's point is absolutely correct. Have you been to Disneyland? Yes, I have, right? Have you been on a plane? Yes, I have. We don't know when, but I want to emphasize one thing here. This rule I'm trying to show you, I can use the present perfect tense to answer that question because it says that it's still true right now. Even if I went to Disneyland 20 years ago, right? If someone says, have you been? I'll say, yep, that is true. Even in this present moment right now, I have been at some point to Disneyland, right?
Sir, I have another quick question, sir.
I'm ready, please.
Sir, if we say I have lived in Sacramento years ago, but not specifically 2 or 3 years ago, only I can say years ago. What about that sentence?
I think the simple past sounds way better. I have lived in Sacramento years ago. I have not, just use the simple past. Just use
but even if the specific year is not clear, like
it sounds less wrong to me, but it's still, for me, again, my native speaker brain goes, okay, that's not really super wrong, but I wonder why he didn't use the simple past. Does that make sense?
yes, because ago that shows past.
Yeah, I lived years ago. I have lived in Sacramento. Years ago, I've lived in Sacramento. Yeah, I would just use the simple past. Emphasizes or focus, right? Emphasize, focus. Everybody knows this word emphasize, right?
Yeah.
If not, I'll show you the definition. Especially. Emphasize is like the meaning of especially. This is a word you're going to hear me use a lot when I talk about verb tense, right? So emphasize, give special attention to something, to place emphasis on something. He wanted to emphasize that he didn't want to offend anyone. So the present perfect let's all say this with time words. Emphasizes the length of time. Present perfect progressive emphasizes the action.
Start on the power.
Ongoing action. Well, this is like Arena's good question, right? Ongoing action. So what's the difference between I've lived in Sacramento for, let me move this around. I lived in Sacramento for 2 years. If I hear that, my native speaker brain says, okay, he or she used to live in Sacramento. They lived there for 2 years. They do not live there now. I have lived in Sacramento for 2 years. I still live in Sacramento. I moved to Sacramento 2 years ago. I still live there now. I have been living in Sacramento. I still live in Sacramento. But why? What's the difference here? And what we'll practice a little bit is the present perfect emphasizes the length of time, right? So it's almost like when you say, I have lived in Sacramento, the emphasis of this sentence is on for 2 years.
2 years.
But in this sentence, I have been living, and actually, if I could only choose one word, it almost changes the meaning of this sentence to emphasize the action. It emphasizes the verb. And again, to you guys tell me, does it feel like there's a different meaning in these two sentences to you guys? In these two?
No.
Again, I think about English language a lot, you guys. There's not that big of a difference.
Yeah, there's no big differences, but only to show the time frame. The first sentence only shows the time frame, but the second sentence, it doesn't show the time frame. How long have you been living?
Well, it still does though, because I said for 2 years, right? It still does. But it's about this. The other image that I show students, this idea of emphasizing, right? Like, what are you emphasizing? It's like this. I think of this metaphor all the time. These are called spotlights, right? And a spotlight is like a special, let's see, these aren't good. This picture is okay, I guess. So an emphasis, when I say the verb tense you use will emphasize a special meaning to the listener, to the reader. What I'm saying is in this image, right? A spotlight is a special light that shines the light in one specific place. In this example, we've got 3 lights, right? 1, 2, 3. But this center light is really spotlighting, one specific person, right? Now, with all of these lights, we can see everything in the picture, right? You can see everything. Just like in this sentence, we get all the meaning. We get live and we get 2 years, right? But when you use the present perfect, the spotlight, imagine in this picture here, right? That the human with his arms up is 2 years, right? You're emphasizing, wow, I've lived here for 2 years, right? But if you use present perfect continuous, this thing in the spotlight here is the living, right? I've been living in Sacramento for 2 years. Maybe I worked, maybe you could say, oh, I started working in Sacramento 5 years ago, but I've been living here for 2 years, right? For some different sentences, some different paragraphs, some different meaning we want to convey, maybe sometimes we want to really stress the verb, we want to stress the action instead of stressing the length of time, right? So do these two sentences have a different meaning? I mean, kind of, but they definitely do have a different emphasis. And that's what I'm trying to show you with this kind of clear spotlight metaphor. And by underlining in the first sentence, I've underlined 2 years. I'm emphasizing time. In this sentence, I'm emphasizing the action, right? So I put the verb into bold, right? Some people are just saying they got to go. That's all good. And then I'm just checking the chat here. Present perfect progressive is to show that something is unfinished. Right. So Circulum is saying it's showing that something is unfinished. So, and that connects to what I'm trying to say here with this emphasis, right? If I'm saying that it's unfinished, I'm saying it's still happening, right? And what is still happening? The action. The action of the sentence is still happening. So it's unfinished. But again, even if I say I've lived in Sacramento, I have lived in Sacramento for 2 years, the action is still unfinished. So this is why these two tenses are so hard. Present perfect is to show that something is finished. Yeah. Well, anyway,
Yeah, that means
questions. Yeah, please.
yeah, that means that present perfect progressive, it started in the past and it is still continuing, right?
Yes.
Perfect tense.
Yes, but please go ahead, Circle.
Yeah, and the other one, the present perfect one is it's like it's finished, it's happened at an indefinite time in the past, and the focus in the result of the action, right?
Kind of, but I want to be careful here. This is why in the chart that I made here, this text that I've highlighted, I'm trying to say it started in the past and is still true. So like, would you say, Circle them, I have lived in Sacramento for 2 years. I still live there. So is this action completed?
No.
Not really,
No,
right?
Still continue.
Right, not really, but again, this is where now when we get to this advanced level, there is this thing of, okay, well, if something's true, right? Like my example, have you ever been to Disneyland? Yes. Oh, when did you go? Oh, 40 years ago. Okay, so that was a long time ago, right? But the question was, have you ever been? Like you were saying, Circle M, a non-specific time. Well, I have, right? It's true. Even though I went 40 years ago, I can say I have gone that is true in the present moment. So I'm emphasizing that it's still true in the present. Now that's a little bit different than emphasizing the action is still happening in the present moment, right? It's not like, oh yes, I've been to Disneyland and I have been, I don't know, I have been visiting Disneyland every year for the last 20 years. Like, wow, okay, so I have been visiting. I still keep going. I'm emphasizing the fact that this is something I still do. I still visit, right? So instead of emphasizing true or not true, generally, I'm emphasizing the action that is still happening in the present moment. Does that make some sense?
So, yeah, Professor, so you say, I have lived in Sacramento for 2 years. So this is a sentence, is a simple past, right? It shows how long you're gonna be there. So how long you lived in Sacramento. So it shows like 2 years only.
Yes, well, and I want to just correct you there, Teferi. I have lived in Sacramento for 2 years is the present perfect, right? I lived in Sacramento. Yeah, just I lived in Sacramento, simple past, right? And that's what I'm trying to show with those first two sentences, Teferi, is I lived in Sacramento for 2 years. If I hear this, if my native speaker brain hears this, I will think, oh, Teferi used to live in Sacramento. He does not live there anymore, right? But if I hear you say, oh, I've lived in Sacramento for the last 2 years or for 2 years, I'm going to say, okay, 2 years ago, Teferi moved to Sacramento and he still lives there right now. Does that make sense?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. Other questions before we look at some more examples, and then we'll practice a little bit. I've got a kind of worksheet today for us to look at. Okay, let's look at a few more sentences. But this basic rule, we'll do past perfect later. We're not even going to start to talk about past perfect today. Don't worry about it. But does this rule this difference kind of make sense about emphasizing what is still true versus what is still happening? Does that make sense?
Yes.
And it's weird, right? It's difficult because here's another vocab word for you. It's subtle. It's a subtle difference, right? It's hard to notice or see. It's not very obvious. It's a subtle difference between the present perfect and the present perfect continuous. That's why, again, I know that this is a great class because this was Arena's first question. What's the difference between I have lived and I have been living? It's hard. Let's look at one more and then we'll practice with we've got time. Since 2015, I started school and I was pregnant.
Wrong.
Correct? Incorrect? What's going on?
Incorrect.
Hugh says incorrect. Why? How? Let's look at it. There's a lot going on.
The order?
The sentence is past tense.
still happening.
Yep, we've got started is simple past and was is simple past, right? Okay, so we're saying we don't like this. We disagree with the verb tense. Why or how? I think I heard a few other people. I heard Hugh, I heard Veronica. Anybody else want to get in there and talk about this one?
Only since created a problem here.
Okay, tell us why. What's going on?
Because since it shows
It's
a
verb.
perfect. It shows an action that started in the past and continues to the present,
Yes. Okay, good.
and may or may not go to future.
So how could we fix it?
I started school and I was pregnant on 2015 only. We should not use since.
I was pregnant when
I have
started.
started. I have started.
No, it better say I started school at 2015 and I was pregnant.
Okay, interesting. Since 2015, I've started school and Hugh finished it. I heard a few other examples. I heard Andre, I heard Hugh, so I think I heard Husna in there too. Hugh, how would you fix this sentence?
Me?
Hugh.
I
have been pregnant.
have been pregnant.
Okay. Andre, how would you fix it?
No.
I fixed it in the another. So I started school at 2015.
Good. I'm going to fix your preposition. We'd say in
Okay.
if you're going to use the year.
And I was pregnant.
Okay. Okay. Anybody else? Who else wants to try and fix it?
Yeah, I can try, sir.
Okay, and then I heard Amanda, I think too. Please go ahead.
When I was pregnant, I started school in 2015.
Look at we're using dependent clauses. All right. When I was pregnant, I started school in 2015. Okay, Amanda, do you want to fix it too?
Okay. Since 2015, I have been start school. Okay, what? Okay, I have been school.
No.
No. Correct. It's not correct. Okay. I had been. Oh, since 2015, I have been. Okay, I have been.
There's so many ways to change this.
Okay, yeah.
It's a tricky one. You want to finish or not?
Yeah.
No pressure, Amanda. No pressure.
Are you gonna try?
School?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure if she's still thinking. You want to keep thinking, or you want
Okay, okay. Someone is fix it. I will think about it.
Okay, we're rushing her. I know I'm just like, if I'm being too fast, I'm sorry, Amanda. I'm sorry. Does anyone want to try one more before we talk about this one?
May I try?
Yeah, please.
Since 2015, I have been started school and I was pregnant.
Okay,
this is the same question.
Let's look. Okay, since 2015,
yes,
I've started school and I've been pregnant. That was Hughes. I started school in 2015 and I was pregnant, period. When I was pregnant, I started school in 2015. Since 2015, I've been started school and was pregnant. Well, never, I'll tell you right now, Serge, I'm glad you tried, but we never do this.
Yeah, when we use been, we have to use ing, right?
Perfect. Yes, that's exactly right. We don't, because been is already in the past participle, so we don't need another past participle here in this example, right? Now, the other thing that's really tricky is there are certain verbs. Where's my slide? I think I moved it to a different. I think I need to move this. This is the one I wanted. Hold on. Forgive me for being a little less organized today. Okay, so this is the rule I wanted to show you. This is really bright red, huh?
All of them wrong?
Yes, some verbs really, really, really do not like to be in the perfect tenses because the action doesn't usually continue, especially when there are time words or specific dates, right? So so this word founded, very specific word here, but it means, if we say this to talk about creating a country or creating a company, right? So here's the definition for founded. So to begin or create something that's meant to last for a long time. So the college was founded in 1793, right? The company was founded in 1999. Apple was founded in 1981 or whatever it was, 79, I forget. But some of these verbs, think about something like starting something or finishing something or creating something. These are things that really, remember, I didn't talk too much about the simple past tense because it's G310, and I can already tell from your writing, we use the simple past to talk about things that are done, right? And there are certain actions that give us this feeling of, oh, that's done, right? That's something that should be done already. And I love this example. This was a real student sentence from last semester. I think both start and be, or you could also use, what verb do we really use for pregnant is, it's a phrasal verb. We really say get pregnant, right? And get pregnant is also one of those things that is kind of like, it's done, right? Like you can be pregnant for 9 months, right? But the moment where you become pregnant is very, it happens once and it's done. So I wanted to show you these sentences to let you guys know, right? So things like, I have founded my company in 2010. Wrong. You're giving us a very specific date, right? Just like in this example sentence here, since 2015. And you're using one of those verbs that has a feeling of being totally completed. So, and I have started taking classes in 2010. How could we fix this one?
I started.
Thank you. Now this makes sense, right? I started taking. That makes perfect sense. I have learned the lesson in 2010. How could we fix I have learned the lesson? Did I scare you guys away?
No.
How could we fix this one? Thank you. Exactly. These type of verbs really just like the simple past instead of any of the present tenses, right? I have understood the idea in 2020.
Understood.
Right? And even some verbs, now not all the time for the verb do, but even something like do or did, right? In 2020, I have done my citizenship interview. I had my citizenship interview. I did either one. Either one is better than using the perfect tense here because it gives us that feeling of, well, is this complete? Is this not complete? Again, some verbs really want to have that feeling of, and it's done, and it's complete. I think there's a list of those in the book. I'll look up the page number and tell you guys which verbs really don't like the perfect tenses. But again, think about things that happen very, very quickly and are completed, right? Learn, especially started and finished, created and ended. Those are things that they're done, right? You do it and they're done. Questions about these examples, and then I want to practice some in the workbook before we finish up here. Questions? All right, let's practice. Oh, okay, here's my last question. What's the difference, before we practice, I forgot. I wanted to use this also as an example, right? So I said this rule, or this, yeah, it's a rule, basically about time words. So what's the difference between for and since?
For shows length of time, and shows duration.
Aren't length and duration are kind of the same thing. Length and duration are the same thing. Good, both great words, but yeah.
For show the duration, show the start.
Thank you. Perfect. That's exactly correct. So again, I'll put this, just a little sort of easy cheat sheet. Again, all this information's in your textbook, but I just try and give you guys lots of resources, right? All the slides, all the links, all the websites, all that stuff. I like this web page because it explains this very quickly, right? 4 is a period of time from start to end. So they're using these signs to say beginning, end, and 4 talks about everything in the middle, right here, right? Since talks about, okay, beginning, and then it talks about continuing up until then or to a specific time, right? Or continuing until now. And again, I really like this web page because it's just about 4 and since, and they'll show you 4, 20 minutes, 3 days, 6 months, 4 years. And again, could be a long time or a short time, 2 centuries, that's 200 years, whatever. Since talks about a specific point in the past and when it goes until. Since 9 a.m., right? A specific point. If I'm saying since, we're talking about since this morning or in the past. We're not talking about 9 a.m. tomorrow, 9 a.m. 2 months from now, right? Since Monday, since 1997, since I left school. It could be a time, a day of the week, a month, a year, or just any other specific event, right? Here we have since and then a clause, right? I left. I've got a subject and a verb in here, right? Or since the beginning of time. Here I've got a noun phrase with a prepositional phrase inside of it, right? So since could be a year, a date, an hour, or even just any other specific event in the past for 4 and since. Questions? I love length and duration. I think that's the same thing. Okay, so let's look at this really quickly, and then if we have time, we'll practice present perfect versus present perfect progressive. But if we, like I said, if we don't do it today, we'll definitely do it next week. So this is just practicing, híjole madre. This is just practicing for or since, okay? So give me 1 second. So I'll read them and then we'll do them together and I'll answer questions. So one says, Joe and Ling have a successful marriage. They be married more than 30 years. They have been married for more than 30 years. So again, what am I emphasizing? Length of time or a specific point in time?
Specific time.
Thank you. Length of time, right? And again, why did I put this? I love this little chart for you guys. So again, screen capture this, whatever, look at the link that I put in the chat, all this good stuff, right? Like look at these, 4, 20 minutes, 3 days, 6 months, 4 years, 2 centuries, right? Since is giving us days, hours, months, events, dates, right? So they have only one fight they first met. Now, this is this activity is like a story. So sentence number 2 is also talking about this imaginary couple here. So Joe and Ling have a successful marriage. They've been married for more than 30 years. 30 years, length of time, 4. Now, they have only one fight they first met. What do I have here? Length of time or specific events?
Specific thing first met.
Yes.
Length of
Oh, good. I like this one. Yeah. This is not length of time. This is a specific event, right? And Hugh, what is that specific event?
Fight.
First met.
Yes. This is everything in this. Let me get my pencil here so that I can type and type the answers in. So does someone want to try? What should this be? Ooh. So what should this be? So if it's a specific event in the past, do we want for or since?
For.
Sing first met.
Yeah, Hugh, Hugh, go ahead. You're on this one, so finish it for us.
They have had only one fight. Sing first met.
Yes, Hugh, this is exactly correct. Now, for all of my people who were saying sit or for, don't worry, let's talk about why, right? So remember, so what is the event that they're talking about in the past? This is like this example, right? Since I left school, since the beginning of time. We don't know what happened since then, but we do know that we're talking about a specific point in the past, right? And what this point in the past that they're talking about in this second sentence is they first met, right? So we're saying they have only had one fight since they first met, right? Now, what if I said they have only one fight for 10 years? What would it, oh, I just gave, never mind.
It was like my word.
This is why this is why you guys see most of the time I use my own materials, because when I use other people's materials, I don't know it as well. I make mistakes. Okay, so let's just look at the chart again. Remember, usually length of time is going to be 4. Specific dates or years is going to be since. So how about they not spend a night apart 1980? If we just look at the chart, 1980, is that probably 4 or probably since?
Since.
So what would this one be?
They have not spent.
Good.
They have not
spent. Good.
Spent.
And have, there's our auxiliary have, right? And then spend has it in irregular past participle. So for my people who knew spent, great job. If you didn't, not a problem. It's an irregular one, right? They have not spent a night apart.
A night apart since 1980.
Great. And now remember, I'm thinking of Sandy giving the thumbs up in her window. Remember, I'm focusing on teaching you the meaning of these verb tenses, not just how to make them. So if you see this sentence, they have not spent a night apart since 1980. Did they spend a night apart in 1979?
No.
We don't know.
We don't know, but what could we probably guess? Yes or no?
We can say no.
From this date, not, but before, yes.
Probably, right? Because I think so. Because if they did not spend a night apart in 1979, then we would probably say since 1979, right? Instead of 1980, right? But this is where I think some of you were knowing I was going to guess. So did they spend a night apart in 1986?
No.
Did they spend a night apart in 1994?
No.
No, it doesn't have logical meaning.
But again, I want you guys to understand, right? We don't use verb tenses just to get the verb, just for grammar rules. Like all language, we're using these verb tenses to convey a specific meaning, right? So if I say this sentence, right, and I say they have not spent a night apart since 1980, I'm saying, well, maybe in 1972, 75, 76, 77, maybe, probably, right? But since 1980, 81, 85, 87, 96, 93, 2013, whatever. Right? That's what I'm really trying to emphasize, the meaning of that sentence. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, now let's look at number 4 and then we'll finish for today. We're just about out of time. Mark and Amy have a successful friendship. They befriends high school. This one's tricky. We don't have a number here. So ask yourself, is this
since high school?
They have been since.
Yeah. Ooh, now we're getting real comfortable. Good. They have been friends since
high school.
Good.
They were friends.
They were. Did you say they was or they were, Hugh?
They were. They were.
But are they still friends now?
Yes.
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 So because they're still friends now, we're going to use present perfect.
Yeah, we cannot use that.
That's right, instead of the simple past. So they have been friends since a specific point in the past. And I do like this textbook and these activities, right? So this is tricky. High school, you probably think of high school as a noun. It is. In this sentence, high school is a noun, right? But they're using high school to talk about a specific point in time in the past, right?
They can also make it like this, or they have had a successful friendship since high school.
Sure, they have had a success. Good, yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Again, like ESL textbooks love to, force you, make you use a specific.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right. But your sentence, the meaning is perfect and the grammar is perfect. So absolutely, yes.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Okay, so I know we only did like an hour on this. I'm already sure we're going to talk about this next week and after spring break. So Don't worry, there's nothing new in Canvas to help you practice this. If you want to go fast, right, and you're like, ooh, I love verb tenses and I want to go there, remember this activity that we started today and we'll finish next week, this one that says grammar and beyond verb tenses, this is already in Canvas. If you go to our Canvas home page, so again, I know you guys are busy, but just in case there's very, ambitious students who are like, Jeff, I want a lesson. I want a graded activity. You can go to our homepage, go to Professor Jeff's course materials, and that's grammar and beyond verb tenses, relative clause, gerunds, and infinitives. All of this stuff is there for you to review at any time. And this activity that we started right here, this one, is on this one that says verb tenses. So again, there's nothing new in Canvas to help you practice verb tenses yet. After spring break, there will be. All I want you to do in terms of homework is grammar writing too. But if you want to look some more at this verb tense stuff, you can find those files in Canvas anytime. Okay, you guys?
When the spring break is, sir? Sorry for that.
No, please. Oh my God. We have one more week. I see you guys next week. And then we get everybody, you get that last week of March off. So spring break is March 29th through April 2nd. I should just put that on the slide.
Yeah.
Because I'm ready. I'm very ready. I would love a week off. Spring break.
Yeah, before
I'm ready to destroy my computer.
Oh my God, I'm so ready. Is March 29th through April 2nd.
Oh my goodness. Only 3 days?
No, a week. You get a week. March 27th. Forgive me. I'm so sorry. You get the whole week, 27th.
Before the students were happy for breaks, but now the teachers also.
I know. Oh my God, you guys, I can't. And I always, in my brain, spring break always starts on that weekend. So really, you get March 27th, and then that's the weekend, right? And then you don't need to, if you have a Monday class, you will have class again on April 5th. Okay. So really, let's say April 5th. Does that look better, Jeffrey? Spring break, March 27th through April 4th, no class, right? So I will see you next Wednesday, if you're here, but not so Wednesday the 24th, yes. Wednesday the 31st,
Jeff, question. What we shall do grammar writing too, and what shall we do neither? So extra something or not?
Yeah, if you want more, like I said, what I suggest you do, if you want extra, you won't get points. So again, if all you care about is points, don't worry about it. But if you want to just practice more verb stuff, go to the homepage, go to course materials, right? Homepage. On the homepage, Professor Jeff's course materials. I'll just make sure everybody sees this. I do this all the time, but again, course materials. It might be different on your phone, Andre, I'm sorry. But then this grammar and beyond, verb tense, relative clause, gerunds and infinitives. If you want lots of verb stuff, look at gerunds and infinitives and the verb tenses, because this like I said, this activity that we did here, this is grammar and beyond verb tenses, right? This is this document. So if you like this and you want extra and you want to go fast, go here, look at all this, look at all these PDFs. And these are ones that I put online for free for you guys, because I don't want you to buy a whole ESL grammar textbook, but this is a more traditional textbook, right? To do kind of sentence practice and grammar practice. So that's what I'd suggest, Andre.
Should I put it in some folder on some file into the site, or just do it by myself and that's all?
Do it by yourself. And then, so I'm not going to put any new assignments for grades in Canvas until
no problem.
Until after spring break. But after spring break, if you've reviewed these verb tenses, Andre, when I publish those new lessons in Canvas, you'll be very ready, because the next, I think, 4 or 5 lessons after spring break are all about these verb tenses that we're going to study in those chapters.
Awesome. Okay. Thanks.
So if you don't have questions, goodbye. You're wonderful. It was so good to see you. If you do have any questions, I can help in any way. I'll stick around, but otherwise, see you.
Thank you, Professor.
Thank you. Have a good one, Professor.
Have a good evening.
You
Bye. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye.
Yes, of course. I see people have questions. And
I have question, teacher.
sure.
And I'm listening your reading the book.
Yeah.
Reading the book videos, and I think tutorial 1, part 1, part 2, but you uploaded this part 1 is twice.
Oh, really? Is the same video?
Yeah.
I need to fix the link. Is it here on the course materials page? I just put the wrong link, maybe?
I'm trying. When I'm doing working, my break time, I'm listening your the
A lot of
I'm sleeping. Before I sleep, I just okay.
Professor Jeff's voice at bedtime. Oh my God. Okay. Hold on. Let me.
And I just wow, where is the part tutorial 1, part 2? It's maybe teachers
No,
upload.
I just probably put the wrong link in Canvas. Hold on, let me take a look. I can find my videos here. I know I've recorded it. I've got it in my YouTube. And Sandy, I know you've got a question. I'll be right with you. I did see your message. Okay. Let me make sure. This is probably just.
And also it's very helpful when we are doing something that we are listening. I put in the it's very helpful, and
I'm very happy to hear it. I hope so. And that's why, again, like in Canvas, right, Amanda, like I've tried to put, you know, there's a lot of, I need to fix it obviously, but where did my Canvas go?
where
You
is tutorial 2, teacher?
Let me fix it. I know I didn't record it last semester. I just recorded myself talking about it. I didn't record that one last semester because it was crazy. LPT part 1.
When you're driving car or this all the time listening, it's very nice. And okay.
That's great.
Yeah, part speech. Okay.
I want to
word, okay. Then I said, okay, part tutorial 1, part 2. It's
let me
part
fix
1.
it. I think I just have the wrong link in there then. Part 2, remove link. External link. Okay, check it. And if I still posted the wrong one, let me know and I'll fix it. I think it is. Let me see. Part 2, got it. Thank you so much. I did not know. But yeah, the link is fixed now. Thank you so much. I'm so sorry about that.
I have question too.
Yeah, please.
Okay, in grades, the score, there is something like airplane. So it means that you're working on grades, right?
Airplane. The rocket ship is usually supposed to be for quizzes. I don't know.
No, it is like rocket or airplanes. I don't know, but when I click on it, it says an instructor is working on grades.
Let me stop sharing. What can I check? I'll just look at it specifically. What assignment is it?
Like lessons 5 syllabus is not graded yet, and my lesson 7 and lesson 8.
Oh, I think I see what you're talking about. Yeah, I don't know what was going on with this. I will look at this.
Yeah, I always see, but when I see the rocket is like the airplane, I don't know. I click that there is an instructor is working on grades, but
sometimes I make mistakes all the time, but sometimes there's just, thank you, Amanda, have a great day. But sometimes it's the technology, and I will look at it. But I see, let me make sure I can see what you submitted.
Because I submit the lessons 5 and lesson 7 and 8, and here when I check, no grade.
I see it. Yeah, I see it. And 7 and 8, you were saying specifically, right? 7 and 8.
Yeah, and lesson 5. See.
Yeah, I got lesson 5.
Yeah, I don't know what's the meaning.
I think it's just sometimes I enter grades in Canvas and then Canvas shows me that I didn't. It just means I need to fight with the computer a little bit more. I promise I'll make it work though.
Okay.
Yeah. Because I can see your assignment and I've given you the points. I just need to make sure Canvas shows you that you got the points. So let me see if I can fix it.
Yeah, please fix, because my grades come too much low.
Right. Well,
I'm in front of my laptop. Tonight I want to finish all of them.
Right. Well, I promise you, I promise you, no matter what, if you do the assignments, I'll get you the points. So I know it's stressing to see when you see the grade in Canvas and it's too low. But I promise, if you've done it, I'll figure it out. I'll make it work.
Okay, thank you very much.
Of course, of course.
Thank you. Have a good night.
You too.
Bye.
Hey, question. Is it the same question about grades?
No, Professor. I want to ask if you continue teach next level. I really like your class. So now it's spring class open to us to select. I want to know.
I'm teaching. I'll put it in the chat.
Spring. Sorry, summer class.
Oh no, I'm not teaching at all in the summer. We have only a few classes, and I'm not teaching in the summer. But in the spring, unfortunately, I'm not teaching G320. Another teacher who's been here longer wanted to teach that class, but she's a very good teacher. So she'll probably have a very different style than me, but she really knows a lot about grammar. So let me put it in the chat.
Yeah, maybe you can recommend me.
And then are you taking reading and writing classes, Sandy?
Reading and writing. I want to select one.
This class
in summer, I want to select one reading. Writing
I teach in the fall. I teach ESL 325 every semester. That's me. And so if you've taken, or what do you know your reading and writing level? 310?
315.
Okay, so if you can, are they offering 315 in the summer?
They will set assess
American College Summer 2021. Let me see. That's the calendar. I don't want the calendar.
Let me check. Maybe I have wrong. Wrong.
I think if you, I can allow students into my class. So really, Sandy, I think you should just, even if you can't take 315 in the summer, take 325 with me in the fall. I'll let you in the class.
In fall. So this is a reading and writing class.
It's six units reading and writing. I do it exactly like this. We teach.
Okay.
I teach, so one live Zoom a week. You can come or you can watch the recording, but that Zoom is over 2 hours because it is a 6-unit class, but we still only do one Zoom a week. And it's a lot of reading and writing, but just from knowing your writing, I think you'll be fine. How do you feel about reading? Are you comfortable? Do you enjoy reading? How do you feel?
I think my reading skill is better than writing and better than grammar.
There you go. Well, then you're definitely then you'll be fine.
Everybody's like that.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, I love reading and listening.
Yeah, reading is more easy than writing.
Yeah, I would be happy to work with you in 325. So I think that'd be the best. I don't see any. All I see is the lab for the summer. If you wanted to work in the lab over the summer, you can. I was going to be working in the lab, but I'm taking 2 months off in the summer.
Yeah, what means lab?
You can sign up for up to 2 units, and really what they will help you do is, the best part about the lab, because I work in the lab now, is there are speaking sessions. So it's usually a group of 4 or 5 students, and they work with the professor or a tutor for about 50 minutes to either practice listening. So they'll play an audio story for you to practice your listening comprehension, or to just talk to each other and practice learning new vocabulary. So if you just want more practice speaking English to a native English speaker, the lab is a great way to do it. It's super easy. It's pass, no pass. There's no A's or B's or C's or anything. It's just like, if you show up and do the number of hours of speaking, you get units for it. So yeah, I think I love working in the lab. I'll be in the lab in the fall as well. So if you wanted to take any lab classes in the fall to practice speaking, we could do that in the fall as well.
Oh, so you mean in summer class, more class like lab class?
So exactly.
It's short, but more focused on practice.
Yes.
Oh,
and it will be online. It'll be on. Everything's online. The lab is just different, right? The lab is, so if you want summer, take 2 units in the lab and practice speaking. In fall 2021, take ESL 325 with me. And then if you like the lab in the summer, take more lab with me in the fall, because I'll be in the lab 8 hours a week. And really what the professors in the lab, we just hang out. We just wait for students to come. And if a student comes, then we work. Like on Friday, I was working with a student who was looking at quantifiers. She just had a grammar question, and we just talked for like 45 minutes because she was the only student in the lab, that day. So check it out. I think you should check it out.
How can I select the lab in summer? Your class?
It's this. Well, yeah, it won't be my class in the summer, but you can you can sign up for any of these classes. They're here. I'll put this in the chat as well. But these are all the different sections for the lab. You would sign up for ESL 94 because that's just the highest level. You're 310. You're a high level student. So you take ESL 94, and you could sign up for ESL 94 with, again, you'll see the professor, but it doesn't matter. You could sign up with Sonda, you could sign up with Julia, you could sign up with anybody, right?
I see.
And then you come to the lab. The great thing about the lab is you come anytime you want. I mean, the lab is open from 8 a.m. until 7 p.m. Monday through Thursday. So you can it's a Zoom, right? You just click the link, join the Zoom, and someone's there to say, hey, Sandy, what do you want to work on? And if there's a tutor available, we can help you. So the lab is really cool.
Oh, great. Yeah, then I think I need that practice opportunity.
It will help.
I see. Thank you. So my last question is this book, Language Power, in our semester, which part we will finish, and how about the other part we will not finish?
Yeah, the parts we won't finish, like I said, is my dream is that in the future I will be able to do G310 in the fall and G320 in the spring, and we'll just do the whole book. But for this semester, what I'm pretty sure that we'll be able to finish, again, it just depends on how fast the class is going. But I'll show you in Canvas, if you go to, as always, the course materials page. All of these videos, so we did 1, 2, 3. My goal is to also do 11, 15, 19, and 20. All the ones that I have videos posted for. This is what I want to finish this semester.
Oh, I see. So the LP3 means part 2.
LP3 means language powered tutorial, because she says tutorial 1 instead of chapter, right? So LPT, the T just stands for tutorial. So LPT
tutorial 3.
Tutorial 3, tutorial 11, tutorial 24. I like to jump around the book so that we make sure I focus on the things that I want you guys to understand at this level.
I see. So for the rest, you will not cover. I plan to read myself. If I think still not understand, I will take your next class.
You can, that'd be great. Sometimes in my 325 class, I will review some grammar stuff that we don't talk about in this class. So it really just depends. But again, if you have time and you want to read the tutorials that we don't do, Sandy, I love this book. I hope you enjoy it. Like I ask students to buy it because I really strongly believe it is a book that can help students for the rest of their life. So yeah, if you want to look at the other tutorials we don't do, I think you will learn a lot. Absolutely.
Thank you, thank you. I just want to completely study for the grammar. Yeah.
I think, yeah, for if a student, a 310 level student, right, was like, Jeff, you know, I only recommend one grammar book for me. This would be this is the one. So yeah, even if we don't finish some parts, if you want to look at it, read it, I think it's such a great book.
I see. Yeah, great, perfect. Thank you. So for G325 sorry, ESL 325.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I see. I will looking for your
Find
class info.
Find me.
So I have also a
Thank
question.
you.
Yeah,
for
please.
taking your time.
Bye, Sandy. Yeah, please.
Bye. Yeah.
Sir, my about my grade, that grammar writing one.
Yeah.
Which I revised it, and as per your instruction, you said you can revise, and I will give you the high grades.
Yes.
Since my classmates say that my grades came too low, so also mine's also same like 69%. So I revised my grammar writing one, and I'm waiting for
yes.
to be graded.
And I will. Like I said, today I was able to finish looking at all the lessons and everything students had done, except for the revised grammar writing one. And I promise I will. If you resubmit it and you corrected your mistakes, you will get a higher grade. I promise.
I have already did it, sir. You know, after 2 days that when I graded the first time.
I'll try and do it soon so that you can stop thinking about it.
All right, thank you, sir. Sir, last question: do you think the class will be in person next semester or no?
The fall? Oh no, they already made there will be 0 ESL classes online in the fall. I'm sorry,
really?
in person. We'll have none. Yeah, we'll have none.
Oh, they're still online, right? All right.
Every class in the humanities, not just ESL. So all the language classes, philosophy, history, all the humanities division, the entire humanities division will be all online for fall.
Okay. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
Of course.
Thank you. My also came again. She's always looking.
You got ice cream? You got ice cream? I'm so jealous.
Yeah, she got an ice cream. When I'm taking my iPad, she's always coming and she's acting like you did for her. So she's going like that. See?
She's like, Dad, what TV show are you watching? There's a lot of grammar on that show.
Yeah. All right, sir. I'm not taking you too much time. I appreciate it, sir. Thank you for your
pleasure. Always good to talk to you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.